can't see your screen and okay, that's good.
Yeah, can you see my screen? Oh, no, I'm sharing now. Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Right,
we can see your screen now. Thanks. Cheers.
cool. Right. So we looked at mediator and all that last time. Yeah, we were here, I think.
Yeah, the mediator.
Yeah,
I
mediator.
really like that one actually.
Yeah, yeah, you loved it, right? Yeah. So someone mediates in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Right. So today, we're gonna look at Momento. Yeah, it's called Momento. It's used in some places, but honestly, I haven't used it much, So, but when I come across this, I was like, oh, okay, probably this is where they use it then. When we do undos, like, I mean, we do something and then we undo to go to the previous date.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's why they're using the memento. So the memento pattern is there to take an object state to its previous state. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, to visualize that. So that's memento basically, right? So the book is talking about, you know, if you have an object and you say the this object, say, imagine this is a basket or something, right? A list or something, right? And sorry, imagine this is an object itself, yeah, and it could have a list, but the list can only have two items, right? So currently the state of this object is having a list of two items, right? You guys with me?
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Okay, so there is an object, and Nila is coming. Let's wait. Nila is here. Hi, Nila. Nila, can you hear us?
Yeah,
Hi, morning. How are
sorry
you?
for late.
No.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Cool,
Thank
cool.
you.
Okay, we just started, Nila, and we wanted to talk about a design pattern called Momento. Have you heard of it?
No, thank
Ah,
no.
yeah, cool. Yeah, so we started Momento. Oh, yeah, me either. I haven't heard of this. I haven't used this much, but it's a cool one. It's a nice one, and it's good to know that. I mean, that is there, and we can apply it. So the Momento, as we have just spoken, the Momento, as we read the book as well, it's saying if you ever have a state on an object, and if you want to go to the previous state, that is where they are using Momento. Something like, you can think of a real world example when you undo things. You write, yeah, exactly. I've drawn this picture now. And if I want to undo, see, this is undo, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I do undo, no, I'm basically simply going back to the previous state of what we had, just the previous state, not all
Hmm.
the way back to what it was before. So not historical states, so just the previous state, right? So that's what we are explaining here. Like, how would that look? So I have an object called A, yeah, and this is that object. We're just picturing it, and it has a list, right? So this is the object, and that object is always going to have a list, like we normally create an object with a list to hold. So this list, right? This list, but we are saying this list can only hold two items, right? Can only have two items, and at the moment they're numbered 1 and 2. I'm just explaining how we can picture and undo, you know, to
Yeah.
apply Momento, right? So what's the state of this object A at the moment? When we say state, what do we mean by that? We mean by what value it holds, right? What is its value, right? Not the behavior. Behavior is the functions or the methods. The value determines the state, right, of an object. So
Hmm.
what is its state at the moment? What is its value?
Two lists,
Yeah, two
two
items in a
items
list,
in the
right?
list.
Yeah. If it changes, then the value is changing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is its current state. The current state is two items in a list. And now we say we're going to change its state by putting another two items. It can only hold two items. So let's replace 1 with 3 and 2 with 4. Yeah. So now its current state has also changed. Current state is changed because of those two items are changed, right?
Hmm.
So the values are changed. So state is changed. So we are in this state now. This was our previous state. How do we go back? to this state, that's when we do undo, right? This is when we need to apply a momento.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Let's see, I mean, how we can do this in Kotlin, and also, something new, anything new which comes along using the language, that's the purpose of it anyways, need to learn Kotlin. Right. Okay, so let's create a class. So this is how the book is going and showing an example. So we create a class. Let's say, let's imagine this is a shopping cart. A is a shopping cart, and we can only have 2 items in the cart, right? So the user buys 1 and 2, he puts into the cart, and then he changes to 1 to 3 and 4, 1 and 2 to 3 and 4, and he now says, okay, he wants to go to the previous state. So by doing undo, so let's imagine we're building a shopping cart, and we are having these items, right? But maximum 2 always in the list. Yeah, that's how we can apply how do I say, maybe try and undo, right? So we have a shopping cart. Yeah, let's say shopping cart. This is the class itself. Okay, so immediately we need a function, right, for adding items. How does it add items? So it needs to take an item, which can be a string, and yeah, so here we can have a list of items. So items equal mutable, mutable list of. That could be also string. Yeah, so we have we have the items. We're going to add it into the items, right? So add item. Yeah, cool with this. So I've just created a mutable list of. We can just create a mutable list using a mutable list of, and then we can add the item into it. Why do we need to have a mutable list? Because we want to add into it. If it's just a simple list, we won't be able to add into it, no? If you just list off, no, it won't work, because it's not mutable. By default in Kotlin, everything is not mutable. All of them are immutable. See, that's why add is not allowed here, because it's a list. Yeah, so we need to have a mutable version of the list, then we can add it. Yeah, cool. I'm just reminding that because we've seen that before, but just bear in mind. So yeah, remember that. Cool. So we can add it now. So we've added stuff into the list. But there's a condition here, right? As we said, we don't want to add more than 2 items, right? So we want to check only 2 items allowed. If you add a third item, you don't want to let the list grow. So if I add another one here, we want to simply replace the 1 and put it there. So when I'm adding the third one, it needs to replace 1. So it should go like that, right? Okay. Yeah. So we need to do that as well. So let's say we add the item, and then we need to check this, right? So so items count. Size, right? Size is greater than 2. We want to remove the first one, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the internals of a recycler view.
Correct. Kind of. Yeah, exactly. That's a very good thought. Yeah. That's very good, Jason. Yeah. This is how probably the recycler view should recycle these, right? It should just replace the ones at the top to, that's why you thought, right? This is how we picture a recycler view, isn't it?
Yeah.
It recycles views to, keep always 2 in the screen. We could have also thought this as a shopping cart, because of the book was so the book was talking about some weird example, like a manager can think 2 thoughts at a time and things like that. But
confusing.
That's confusing, right? Why would you need to bring in a human and his thoughts and this and stuff like that? Keep it quite real, as in, where would you have a list. So I was thinking maybe I was quickly thinking last night, and I thought, oh yeah, why not shopping cart? But that's where I have a list and stuff like that, no?
Yeah.
But you just said a good example. A recycler view would be a good fit for this example because I mean it can have more than some items measured in the screen. Yeah. So only 2 items can be fitted into the screen, then only 2 items, right? Then that's how the recycler view would be replacing things. But yeah, so we could think this as a recycler view too, right? So if there are 2, always remove the first and replace it, right? Simple as that. Yeah. So, and I don't like this 2 here as a magic number. So what do you normally do? So we have a companion object and we say private constant val max allowed items or something. Yeah, maximum allowed items. So we can replace that here. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Right, and now, right, so that is fine. And let's create a function to print the items in the shopping cart as we're thinking, so that we can check what's going on, right? Print cart or something. And then we're going to say println with items equal to items, yeah, because we're printing this the list.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And then what do we want to say? Yeah. Okay, so we want something now to represent the state of the object. I mean, to get hold of these, because we want to undo things, right? So we want to save the previous state, right? So that we can go back, isn't it? So we need to save this when we are replacing things on it, so that we can go back to it. So somebody has to get hold of the previous state, right? There's no magic, isn't it? Nothing is going to be automatically working. So we need to get hold of that. So we need to represent something to get hold of the states, to go back, as well as, we need to think of how to save the state as well, right? So yeah, so we need something called state to get hold of it. So state at the moment is to save this, right? Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's create that then. So here, this is the new thing. In Kotlin, we can have inner classes. So I'll tell you why. Inner class called state. Let's create that. And what does it need to do? It needs to take in the list. Somebody has to give him the list to store, to get hold of it as the previous state, right? So state, we can say private val, yeah, it'll be the previous items, right? Which will be a list of, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the list of strings, no? As we're saving things. Yeah. If we do that, we can access this, because this is being an inner class to the parent class. You can access if you, define, if you declare this as an inner class inside a parent class, then the inner class can access the stuff from outside. If I don't do that, I wouldn't be able to access this. See, for an example, I can't access this. See, it's not found. But if I make this inner, yeah, then this is fine. I mean,
okay.
Sorry.
Right.
Oh, sorry. I need a yeah. We are in a function. So sorry. What am I doing? Yeah, you see, you can see this now. Yeah. So that's this. But if you get rid of the inner, you see, you can't find it. So you can't access the outside class stuff.
That inner inner keyword gives it inheritance.
Accessible. Yeah, accessibility.
Oh, accessibility. Okay.
Yeah, in Java too, we have inner classes, no? So if you have an inner class, the inner class can access its parent values, variables and all that. So yeah. So yeah. So we're gonna do something with the items here. So Yeah, so that what we need to do, we need to restore, right? So that's how we can go back to the previous state, no? So the restore would be something like yeah, these are the previous items, but we need to access what's in here to be the previous item, no?
Yeah.
Okay, but then this would be yeah, we need to change this to a mutable list because of this thing. This is a val, but this has to be a var because of it. I can change it. Yeah, yeah. So I'm setting it. So I get the previous items through the state, and when somebody calls restore, this is where I'm holding it because I've been in Kotlin we can, create vals in the constructor so that will be kept as values for this object. And then anytime when somebody says restore, I get that list and put it into the parents list as this is the list. That means this is the shopping cart's latest state. Yeah.
Okay. I thought
Simple.
it was already.
Hmm?
Oh, right. The previous items is not a mutable list at the moment. Is
Yes,
that
yes.
why you have to change it?
Yeah, that's why we need to change it here to say because
Oh, right.
this is the new, mutable list we want to set for this shopping cart.
Yeah, yeah.
Something in between. That's why we have this in the class. To
Okay.
get hold of the previous date, right?
Mm.
But we can see how this plays out in action. So yeah, right. So but then we can also add an action, add a function called undo because that's what the that's what the main purpose of this,
Mm.
So how do we do that? So we need to get the state. So this is how we can undo, no? So we get the state and then, yeah, so we can call then dot restore. Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, the undo means, for the state we have, we need to call restore on it, so that this will set the previous items. Yeah. We can do this in many ways. I'm just showing you a way, that what I would have normally and, how we can get into the previous state, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's see, whether we can now test this. Yeah. So let's add some items into this. So let's create a panel. We have a card, shopping cart, and let's add items. Don't add items. Right. Okay. What is it? Bread or something. Add another one.
Milk.
Yeah, milk. Yeah, always bread and milk, right? And yeah, and let's store this because that's what we have to store now. So we need, because of our condition here is if you have anything more than 2, it will remove the first. So after the 2, we need to store it. Otherwise, we'll lose the items we have just stored into the list, right? So how do we store this? So we can call cart dot. Are we saving this? No. Wow, we don't have a store save state or something. We need to save the state as what's in here. So how can we create that? So let's create another function. Save state or something. And then that should give us the state back. So so return a state with the items, no? Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So the state itself is to hold the state, right? The class. So when somebody says save state, we need to return the state with what we have at the moment, right? So that's these two. When we add, and if we call save, sorry, when we say save, it will save these two into the state now because this is the previous items as what's in the cart at the moment. That's these two. Yeah, you see?
I thought it took something in as parameters.
No. We just say, save the state. So
Okay.
whatever you have at the moment into this items,
Yeah.
you're telling it to get hold of it. That gets
Okay.
that goes here.
Right.
Yeah, as the previous item. So these are our previous items at this minute, so we say save state. So you just, so where are these added at the moment? When we say add items, yeah, I'm slowing down a bit. So items, this gets into here, right? And then when we say save state, what it's doing is it's putting this those items which is currently in our list into this, no?
Okay.
Yeah, because of this, the value is holding.
Yeah.
So we just give it into the state by creating an object called state, and that's the list now, we just get which is held as, so, and anytime when we say restore, we're going to restore back to that, so our items will be set back to what this is holding. So that's these two. Yeah, so we've saved it. Let's print. What do we have at this moment? So cart dot print cart. So if you now print, it should just say, your shopping cart has these two items, no? Yeah, right, because that's what we have added so far. We save the state and we're printing the cart as what the items we have. Now let's carry on and add more items to what is it? Banana, apple, maybe. Apple, we're gonna add some fruits, apple and some veggie or something. Yeah. No, vegetables or something. Am I spelling vegetables correctly?
I don't think it's got an I. Is it an I? I think it's an E.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Correct. Right, so we've added these two. So when we add these two, these would have been replaced, right? Because that's how add item does. Because if the size is greater than 2, we will remove the first and put it in. So the moment we add apple, after we've added these two, it will remove bread and it will put apple there. Yeah. And if you put vegetables, it will remove now what is the first there, and it will add the second one. So now the items are going to be these two. Yeah. So we now need to restore back, because of these are gone. Yeah. But we saved it before, so we can now restore it. So that's the okay, so this saving will give you the previous state, right? Previous state, yeah. Yeah. So this is our previous state. So we've added these two. Now we need to restore. How are we restoring it? So we save the state. We yeah, we can undo. If we have a state, we can undo that, right? So this is our previous state, which is actually, they call this as momento, if you're saving the object's previous state to get hold of it, to restore it, this is what they say as momento. The momento a pattern is applied here, kind of, so storing it to restore it back. So we have the previous state dot yeah, so we can, yeah, sorry, we have to yeah, so we have the card dot yeah, undo, no? So we can undo this with the previous state. And let's make this private, because we don't need to, yeah, we don't want others to call this from outside. No, we can't. Others in the inner class. Yeah, we can't. Sorry, anyway, yeah, that's fine. It's okay. So yeah, as a card we call undo. It takes the state, which in this case the previous state, and it calls the restore in our inner class, which is to revert it back. This is where the actual reverting to the previous state is happening, right? this is where we actually doing the Momento kind of pattern.
Right.
Yeah, so let's see. So when, okay, so if we run, okay, so now we need to print after the restore. Yeah, so we start adding 2 items, we save it immediately so that we won't lose it. We print the card and see what's in it, so it will say these 2, and then we carry on adding 2, so it will be replaced with these 2, and then we undo so that we can go back to the previous state, and we print. So what we will see is we will see these now, and then when we do the undo, then we will see these back.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, we have started adding these, and then we have replaced them with these. So when we print the card here, yeah, we will see this first, and then no, maybe I think we don't want to print these here because there's no point in printing that there, right? Because we want to see the second ones added. So we print soon after the second one's added. So we will see, we won't see these. Yeah, just to make sure the first 2 items are not there. So we will see this first, we undo, and then we'll see what's in this now. So when we do undo, we'll have to go back to this, no? Yeah, let's run this then. Yeah. So basically, anywhere we want to do an undo like this, so we want to store the state and we want to take the user back to the previous state. It's a pattern like this used, which is called Momento, they are calling, I don't know why it's called Momento. No, our thing is wrong. So it's always saying apple, vegetable, apple, vegetable. Why is that? So, so we have the previous state. So how are we saying the state? We create this and we return a state, which is what we have with what's in there already. Yeah, that's a save state. And that's the previous state. And when we say undo, we get this and call restore it. So
Can we get a bread and milk print out first?
yeah, we can. And let's save it and yeah, but they're getting replaced. We're not doing the undo. There you go. Bread, milk, apple, vegetables. Print, that is what we're printing. Undo is not doing the undo correctly. So we get what's added as the last. So our undo is wrong. Yeah, let's fix this. So what are we doing wrong? We restore. When we call restore. I think that's where the problem is. So when the restore is called, sorry, yeah, go on. Sorry, Nila.
I think restore function will have that parameter items.
This one. Yeah, mutable list. Change it to so that items are a mutable list now. That's a mutable list. Yeah,
it's correct.
Yeah. So saving state is taking a list, but this is a mutable list. That shouldn't be a problem. I'm sorry. We can change this to a list too, so that everything is the same. So state takes a list, yeah, and we change to a mutable list. Don't think that will be the problem, but are we? Yeah. Oh man, that was a problem. Yeah, first added breaded milk, then we added apple and vegetable, Then after undo, we went back to the previous state, which is this. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's
Just the list with
yeah,
the
the list
trick.
being not a mutable list because of the state. Yeah, not being list because we passed, what is it? We passed the mutable list here as mutable list, and we call two mutable list maybe mess things up. I don't know why that happened though. But we need to dig a bit more further. But that's not the point here, right? So yeah, so let's pass in the states, the the list objects as what's defined as. So state takes a list, but this is a mutable list. So we can change a mutable list to a list by calling two lists to it. So this is given as a list, and then to save it back when the restore is called, this is now a list, so we need to save it, change it back to a mutable list. So we can also call two mutable list on a normal list. So that becomes the mutable list. I think somewhere along that line, something wasn't getting updated because of its being a list. So we were asking to add items to it, and it's not a mutable list. I think. But anyway, that's we can dig further and find out what was the problem, what happened there. But do you guys want to dig a bit further and find out why that problem happened? So we need to debug a bit. But this is how it should work. Shall we dig in a bit more and see what happened there, the problem?
Yeah, we can debug.
Yeah, let's do that then, because that is also an interesting problem, right? So we didn't. Yeah. So what we said was we said this is what we want to pass it in. But this list, I think, is a collection, right? So everything. So we are opening. Yeah, that's why this is passing. If we would have said this is yeah, this version is a mutable list of. What is a mutable list of? What does it give you? We get an array list. Yeah, that is a mutable list, and that itself is a mutable collection, which I think it's also a collection. That's why it was allowed, because if it's all collections, it's a part of the collection. It's an extension of collection. That's why this was saying any list is fine, mutable or immutable is fine. So that's why it didn't break straight away when we passed this in. Yeah. So this is a list. We can be able to pass in yeah, mutable list. So this came as a mutable list. So we call two mutable list on a mutable list itself. So this collection, so this is the extension function they have, and an array list they are creating with this. So the array list is taken that I don't know, this is not going to go further in, I mean, I don't think we can go that further, but then this being is not a collection, which is an mutable version of collection. So when we say restore, so up until this point, so we said save. So we said save. That's where we were not giving the right version of the list. So we said
got a minute.
Okay. Yeah. This is when we put this version of this mutable list into the state. We create the state with this, and then that's went into this. Yeah, so what is the save doing? The save